Today on the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast, I'm joined by Brennan Zarowski, broker and owner of C&C Realty and one of the top-rated realtors in Saskatchewan. Brennan specializes in acreages, lakefront properties, and family homes across Lumsden, Regina, and the beautiful Qu'Appelle Valley. In this episode, though, we are going to break down the 7 reasons why Lumsden is such an incredible place to live, from community and lifestyle to investment potential and small town charm.
This is the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast.
Brennan, welcome to the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
What actually spurred this episode was my wife and I were driving to a Rider game, and this is very common for people who go from Saskatoon to Regina. You drive through Lumsden, you maybe stop at the gas station, it's like, this place is absolutely beautiful. So thanks, Brennan, for coming on. Just before we get into our 7 reasons why Lumsden is a great place to live, just give us a little background on yourself, how you got into real estate, and just your speaking expertise on Lumsden.
I'll try to keep it as quick as possible. So I grew up at Regina Beach. I went to school in Lumsden, so I graduated from Lumsden High School as well. I was actually a hairstylist for the majority of my my career life. So I did 12 years there as a journey person hairstylist, and I got diagnosed with MS in 2013. So I started, contemplating would I be able to stand and keep doing that for the future. My mom, who had already bought Cottage and Country Realty at the time from Lou Gibbs, already owned a real estate brokerage. I was quite familiar with it. And I guess just naturally, my mom had already done it and it seemed really familiar, just felt like the right step to go towards. So I got my license in 2014 and the rest is kind of history.
Being a realtor, you're constantly in your truck or car, like touring around and seeing the landscape. And let's start with number 1 on the list, Brennan, the stunning valley setting of Lumsden. Just expand upon, for people who are outside Saskatchewan, there's kind of this idea that it's flat and ugly and nothing is here, but it is beautiful in Lumsden.
Yeah, like I've said that a few times. Whenever somebody tries to make fun of Saskatchewan, I kind of say, like, you don't know my Saskatchewan. Where I'm from at Last Mountain Lake and the Qu'Appelle Valley around Lumsden, it's literally beautiful. I just did an evaluation of an acreage yesterday, and just driving up past Craven up Highway 20 with Last Mountain Lake on the west side too, like just the views of Vailport there, they're absolutely stunning. Come fall time especially, like just the colors throughout the valley with all the trees turning color, it's very magical. It's a very unique place.
For someone who's not familiar with it, just explain it maybe a little bit. That it's an old river valley, right, Brennan? Just walk us through kind of that topography.
Yeah, the Qu'Appelle River runs through it. They have actually moved the river over the years to make it a little more manageable. They've raised the dike, like the walls of the river itself too. There's been some pretty nasty floods in the past, but that's also what gives Lumsden its charm. I would say arguably it'd be very tough to see a flood moving forward. They've done a very good job of planning for that. But like just the river running through it with the dike running through, all the walking paths beside it, and just like the old school charm of Lumsden. It's an old rail town, and you can still kind of feel the historicness of it. The old buildings, brick buildings, like Painted Parasol, for example, and the old post office. They're just beautiful buildings.
Wonderful. And, the best part about like a smaller place like Lumsden, maybe even for like old country folk like me, I grew up on the farm. I don't really like being in the city. I don't really like big crowds. I really enjoy a smaller pace setting, even like that's why I live in Martensville as opposed to Saskatoon. Walk us through being close to a major city like Regina, but having that benefit of kind of that small town living.
Yeah, so, I grew up at Regina Beach, lived in Regina for over a decade. I know the city life well. Awesome in your 20s, for sure. As I got a bit older again, I was really drawn back to that, the charm of the country. Just a bit slower pace, your neighbors, and then being in Lumsden. So I lived in the beach story for 5 years before I moved to Lumsden with my wife. We made that trip just because at 15 minutes a day, like Lumsden is so close to Regina, it's 50 minutes and you're in the city. Right? So anywhere you want to go in Regina is 30 minutes. I can be in White City in less than 40 minutes. The commute for anybody that wants to be in that bedroom community while still having that really nice small town feel, like Lumsden is a perfect spot for you.
And it is interesting that like friends and family who will exist in the larger cities, like, oh my God, Lumsden is so far away. And then when you live in kind of that bedroom community, it's like really the traffic, it is that 10, 15 minutes of highway driving, but it really doesn't add that much commute.
So sure, if you always grew up in the city, maybe it's just that much different. But growing up at the beach and going to school in Lumsden and riding the bus every day, and then just driving to Regina back and forth for work for a while. Like my dad commuted for over 30 years to Regina back and forth. That drive, I mean, even at 30 minutes from Regina Beach, it's actually less than 30 minutes by a little bit, but it's like 5, 6 songs on the radio, and you have a chance to kind of wind up with your coffee in the morning. And all of a sudden, you just kind of blink, and you seem like you're at work. Like it's not that far. Lumsden, I mean, it takes longer to go from the south end of Regina to the furthest north part. Like, if you're going through town, it's a 15 to 20 minute drive. It's
Right.
literally 50 minutes, right?
And oftentimes, even if you're coming back from work, it's that chance to decompress from work. You little audiobooks, some music, you call some friends. Like it can be time well spent. Not to say time in car is better than being at home, but yeah, that little bit of commute can be a good thing.
It's not a bad thing. The decompression thing is real. Not to mention, if you're coming home to Lumsden, the very last part of your journey is coming down Highway 11 and that beautiful valley view, right? Seeing the river flowing through and everything. It just kind of calms you right down. When you get home, you're already decompressed. You walk right right in the house. You don't have to sit in the car and just kind of gather your thoughts before you go in. You've already done that.
Walk me through, at number 3, we have tight-knit, family-friendly community. A lot of people who watch these videos or listen to the audio version of the podcast, they're thinking of moving somewhere. And so a lot of times it comes down to like, how's it going to be for my family? Walk us through the family friendliness and the community style of Lumsden.
I mean, to start, we have so many just family friends because of the kids too, but all the parents now, we hang out often so the kids can hang out and play together. But Lumsden's the type of place where we let our daughter walk to the grocery store, and yeah, she sells an Apple Watch, GPS, that kind of stuff. But you don't have that worry with them going down because that there's probably 100 friendly faces that know her and she knows them. They know who I am, especially too. If anything would ever to happen or she was getting in trouble or something like that, they let us know right away. So there's that kind of village aspect here for sure. It's still a bedroom community. There's lots of working professionals that don't really involve themselves totally in the town, but most everybody with younger kids, they're very involved with each other. You go down to the Lumsden rink and you'll see everybody in town half the time too, right? It's a big meeting spot where everybody knows everybody, and it's just, yeah, it's easygoing and friendly, and there's no stress when you're here.
There is kind of a parallel to like where we live in Martinsville, where there's like a rant and rave Facebook page. And usually the biggest complaints are just like, these damn kids are like playing their music too loud. And it's nice to live in a place where the biggest things usually going on are just these kind of like everyday funny things. And you get that kind of like 100 people looking at like, like that person's kid is doing that. And, you kind of eliminate a lot of the big city problems. And it is kind of nice in a way that like, the small town stuff is the issues that people worry about.
The worst we have are ring and runners. And you leave your candy out at Halloween if you're not there, and we have a doorbell camera, and pretty much everybody just like takes what they're supposed to. You don't have the kids dumping the whole bucket. Like there's a bit more of that, like I guess, control, consistency within the community. And I think it actually comes down to the fact that everyone knows that you know everybody. So in a bigger city where you don't really know your neighbor or anybody else, I think you're less scared to disappoint anybody. Whereas in a small town, when all eyes are on you, you kind of want to look good for your parents and your friends and everything else. So I feel like that natural policing kind of happens in a very good way.
Yeah, that community aspect. And kind of on this same trend, talking about like family friendly, moving into number 4, someone is considering moving there if they have kids. Schools are obviously a top priority. What can you tell us about education opportunities there?
Real estate investing does not have to be a full-time job. Randall, Hoeber, and Boys Group Realty provide complete property management services in Yorkton and surrounding areas, allowing investors to enjoy passive income without the headaches of day-to-day management. From finding tenants to handling maintenance and rent collection. Whether you own a property or are just getting started in the market, Randall, Hoeber, and Boys Group Realty makes it simple. Call Randall Hoeber at 306-782-1323 or email info@ralixenterprises.com to take the next step towards hands-free real estate investing. Your property, our expertise. Whether it's your home, business, or farm, Pioneer Solar and Renewables has you covered. As leaders in residential, commercial, and agriculture solar solutions, they make clean energy easy and affordable. Visit pioneersolarenergy.com or give them a call to begin harnessing the power of the sun today. Are you investing in real estate? Let Krishna with Boys Group Realty take care of everything. Finding properties, purchasing, renovations, leasing, and management, leaving you to focus on building wealth. Whether it's a single rental or an entire portfolio, serving Saskatoon and surrounding areas, helping maximize cash flows and minimize stress. If you're looking for an expert to manage your investments, reach out today, home@meetkrishna.ca.
Lumsden is a very well-known school. Both of them, I should say. I don't know stats on it anymore, but I know that we're highly rated. We have a full French immersion elementary school. There's a daycare there as well, which helps. It's usually pretty full, but I mean, that is there for the people that need it. And then the high school gathers people from all over the area, from Craven to Bethune, Regina Beach. There's over 400 kids there. Phenomenal sports programs, great music programs. And we used to have a really good drama program too. And when I was younger, I remember that as well. Choir was phenomenal. And then again, just everybody got along. Playing football, it was a whole bunch of skaters and your typical cowboys, and all of us got together and just did some serious damage and pretty much never lost the game. And Lumsden's still pretty good at that. I'm pretty sure we just won championships again. So just something about that. Volleyball, football, any kind of sports programs, Lumsden's a really good fit for you.
Yeah, if you can get the mixture of the town kids and the farm kids, there's usually a pretty good sports team mixed in with there. And it is interesting how those little small towns will have these kind of like niche sports that they're really good at. Like, I don't know how familiar you are with Marysburg, but they just turn out these like amazing baseball players, and Anaheim has amazing volleyball players. And so interesting how small towns in their own can kind of create these like really good athletes because there's some specialty, usually because of the school.
I also wonder if there's less to do. And I mean that like in a good way, right? Like, you're not sitting there going out constantly. There's a lot of extra training, morning training, and then after school, people like live and breathe football and hockey here. Hockey program is phenomenal too. There's something to be said about that, I think, as well. Obviously, technology is kind of getting in the way of that period, but smaller towns, everyone they're kind of the peer pressure to be better as a whole really shines through.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And like, there's this funny thing that we think about living in a smaller community and you say, oh, there's nothing to do. And I always kind of like reverse it, that like, well, what are you really doing in a big city? You're going out, you're eating, you're seeing stuff. And like, you're just doing that in a different way in smaller communities. You just have like less access to different versions of that. But that can also be a really good thing, especially if you buy into the charm of a place. And we'll switch there now at number 5. Walk us through kind of local charm and amenities that you'll see in Lumsden.
Local amenities. Well, we have one of the best restaurants in the area with Freebird. Phenomenal food. I mean, not to say that the Lumsden Bar, the Hotel and Steak Pit, aren't bad options, or the Valley Pizza. There's also a Subway here, and there's Chinese food and a few others. But it has everything you need. I mean, other than a hardware store, but then again, you got Home Depot or Regina Beach Home Hardware, which are both 15 minutes either way. So it's not like you needed that. That's actually where Freebird is now. So 6 one, half dozen of the other, as far as give and take. But yeah, local plumbers, electricians, boutique shops. There's multiple hair salons. It's just, really a little bit of everything here.
Nice if you can have also those local amenities, but then you also, that kind of goes back to that closeness of Regina. It's not quite like you're living an hour away and there's this big commute to buy or get something. You have a lot of the basics. And then if there is something over and above that, Regina's close by.
Yeah, I mean, we even got a flower shop. We've got the Painted Parasol. I mentioned it earlier. It's an amazing gift shop. There is other boutique shops here. You don't really need to leave a lot of the time. A couple of gas stations, right? Convenience, liquor, pretty much everything you need other than a few of those specialty items. So you're not hitting the highway that often, to be honest with you. It's more of a special project where you have to leave. And even as far as coffee shop, Jane Doe's just closed down. There's a new one going in there. But even that, so you said, there's less to do, small town. There's a really strong homeschooling community here as well, which we're involved in. Our kids are going to be going to public school next year, but even then, put the coffee on, get all the moms and the kids together there, make it a social event. There's other ways to enjoy the town and kind of really stay involved in that sense.
let's leapfrog from there, talking about enjoying the town. We live in Saskatchewan where it gets like super hot in the summer, super cold in the winter. What are we saying about like light outdoor lifestyle and recreation? And what is there for young and older people to do?
In the wintertime, they groom cross country skiing trails. Sorry, the biathlon club is actually super unique to not only Lumsden but Saskatchewan. As far as I know, there isn't another one in Saskatchewan. So that's super cool from anyone from your 2 to 5 year olds all the way up to seniors. Right? They have a program for everybody to hang out there. Outside of that, you always see people like walking, cycling. I'm a cyclist. If you like getting your heart rate up to the hills in Lumsden, is it's challenging, but it's just absolutely beautiful, especially the ride from Lumsden to Craven and back. There's a couple 24-hour gyms here, Hilltop Fitness and then Wilkie Wellness as well, which has been around for a long time. There's also a chiropractor here as far as wellness goes. Yeah.
And of course, do you folks have a hockey rink in Lumsden?
Oh yeah, like that's literally the heart of the community. So yeah, and there's family skates once a week on Wednesdays. My son loves skating. You go down there as well. I just had something else I was going to say. In the summertime too, we have a spray park. Super fun for the kids to go hang out there. There's a restaurant there as well. Bathrooms, you can kind of go bunker down there for a while by the baseball diamonds. Campgrounds. Yeah.
Lumsden has got it all. Okay. And this is a real estate podcast as well. So let's kind of wrap it up, Brendan, with just kind of an exploration of the real estate market in Lumsden. Just give us a sense of what it's like from an outsider's perspective, maybe even someone from, Saskatoon or Regina. What do we need to know about Lumsden, and maybe the perspective of someone who knows nothing about Saskatchewan real estate? What can we tell them about what they could find there?
Lumsden holds its own. It's been highly valuable and has been for a long time. Like anything, there's ebbs and flows, but you have a very safe investment in Lumsden. You typically aren't going to lose any money. It's very nice and predictable in that sense. It is so close to Regina, and with everything kind of nearby and close by, it just, like I said, it holds its own, especially with schools here too, the ring programs. It's substantially stronger value than the communities around it. So you do have to have a little bit of a higher budget to move into Lumsden, typically speaking, depending what you're looking for. But then again, once you've purchased and you live here, that investment's fairly protected.
If we were to look at a house price range, kind of from the medium to the high end, Brendan, what would like a single family home go for in Lumsden?
You're still looking like around the $400,000 range. You can get it in the high twos, low threes sometimes too for a more dated home. And then obviously you have the $7, $8, $9 million homes as well. Those are typically more located up on James Street South, Minerva Ridge and Chandra Estates. But even throw it down, you can see the odd house that'll hit, in the high sixes and sevens. So there's a big range. They got brand new townhouses, not really townhouses, but detached housing that they just sold and built. Those went pretty well, and those were all in like that $400,000 to $500,000 range. So in that ballpark.
Is Lumsden typical of other smaller communities in Saskatchewan where things get listed and take a while to sell? Or is it a little closer to bedroom community style where it kind of matches what's happening in Regina to a certain extent as far as turnaround times and prices?
It can be the same, or it depends on the house and what you're pricing it at for the most part. There's a big demand here, so the market is good. There's been a couple of times you price a house well here, you're getting multiple offers on it, competing, selling it above list price. It's happened a few times this year as well. Just like Regina, you can still overprice a home, and if you do that, it's going to take a little bit longer to sell. So overall, I would say the market's very strong. Maybe not quite as strong as Regina, just because of that mental convenience aspect where they think Regina is that much closer, but it still does very well.
The Saskatchewan Realtors Association supports over 1,700 realtors across the province. Their members provide expert insights to help you navigate the market. Visit sra.ca for monthly stats, industry updates, and to find a realtor near you.
If someone is interested in moving to Lumsden, or maybe even they're listening to this like, hey, it's time to sell my house, what is the best way to get in contact with you? What's the easiest way to reach out?
Me or my team. I got a big team. There's 12 underneath me, and we're growing, which is a super cool thing to see. But you can find us easiest at ccrealty.ca. That's our main website there. You'll find our bios, numbers, emails, that stuff on the Meet Our Agents page. Me personally, my cell phone's 306-351-9111. You can text or call me, and or you can email me at brennan@ccrealty.ca.
That's so cool. Brennan, let's leave us with a last thought. If you wanted to give us a sentence or two to describe Lumsden to the uninitiated, what would you say?
Welcoming, charming, beautiful. And I didn't even mention it, so I want to bring it in there too. The amount of festivals we have here, from the Scarecrow Festival, from the Duck Derby, the Snowflake Bazaar. There's always something going on here. Very community focused. If you want to fit in and feel like you belong and just kind of know your neighbor, we're your home.
That's awesome. Brennan, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, sharing about your community and giving us a window. And you had a line there at the very beginning. It won't come to mind, but about, Saskatchewan. And this is kind of the small town feel. And I really, really love that, because I think a lot of outsider perspective, it can be like, well, why would you want to live in Saskatchewan? And I think you've done just such a beautiful job explaining why that small town charm can be so enduring. So thank you for sharing and giving us your perspective.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. Do you need help with your next real estate transaction? Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or investing in real estate, I am here to help you navigate the mortgage process in both Saskatchewan and Alberta, or connect you to a trusted professional. Feel free to send me an email at ron@ronqmortgage.ca or use the booking link to schedule a time to chat. Until next week, I'm Ron Quaroni, your Saskatchewan mortgage professional. Bye for now.